Hi everybody, I am back. Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology, also often known as Lumina, and I'm here today with your week ahead forecast for the week beginning May the 11th and through to the 18th. But can you believe it? I created a bit of an outline for this forecast, and then I went off to the gym and did a couple of short errands and didn't look at my phone the whole time I was out, and I got back and we have a new pope. And so I'm going to be doing another video about the new pope and about the time of the white smoke coming out as well. I kind of have a good feeling about this, but we'll see. Even though I'm not, a religious person, it's undoubted that the pope has a big influence in the world. The Voice does. And this is the first American Pope. And there's some interesting things there between this Pope and the apparent leader of this country. But anyway, less about that. So if you love astrology with depth, humour, and a little side eye, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, and if you'd like to go deeper with bonus tarot spreads and monthly calls, please check out my Spiral Weave membership. You can join that here on YouTube, or you can join it on Substack. It's pure cosmic magic. So on with the week. Excuse me. I've pulled 3 cards for the week, and let me quickly show you. I pulled from the Red Threads Tarot, the 3 of Blades, 3 of Cups, and 2 of Discs. And I'll unpack them fully at the end. But let's just say it's going to be a week of sacred heartbreak, surprising joy, and learning how to balance it all. All right, then, let's get the chart up. And I'll go through each day quite quickly. And I'm going to sum up at the end. Oh, sorry about that. I couldn't find the window. I'm all flummoxed by coming home to like major news like that. I was like, oh, I'm just having a little, time out here, and then bam, new pope. And it is a big deal. Okay, people, I know you may not be religious or whatever, but it's, yeah. Anyway, let's dive on with the week that I prepared before that news. I will do a video on the Pope and on the time of the election. So I'm going to call Sunday, the 11th, Truth in the Tension. So the moon is in Scorpio all day and meets Hecate. Scorpio over here. We start with the moon in Scorpio, just having met Black Moon Lilith, meets Hecate, meets Vesta, but then squares off with Leo with Mars, in the sign of Leo as we elect Pope Leo. Can't believe it. Anyway, expect some emotional intensity, some sacred thresholds, and the potential for power struggles or passionate breakthroughs. And incidentally, this is on the apparent leader of this country's Pluto. So watch for his emotional breakouts, shall we say. But also today, Mercury, excuse me, Mercury over here, now in Taurus, opposes Haumea, creatrix Haumea, which is a call to burst truth through our words, even if it's raw. And so some other words for this day are emotional courage, sacred focus, Vesta, and your voice, Mercury, as a portal of transformation. So on to the 12th. Now, I did do a full moon video, so you can find that in in my videos as well. And this is the day of the full moon, so the 12th. So this is full moon waters rising. I think I said in my full moon video, I've always been a little bit edgy about Scorpio full moons because they're very emotionally intense and very powerful. Scorpio is like the deepest of deepest water signs, like still waters run deep, that kind of thing. But the Scorpio moon flows through some very deep aspects as well as we move towards the full moon. So the the Scorpio moon will trine Nessus over here in Pisces. I'll tell you what all this means in a minute. So there's some ancestral healing going on here. And also squares off to Chariklo, Chiron's wife, which is bringing some boundaries in sacred space. And this culminates in the Scorpio full moon. So again, check out that dedicated full moon video. But we also have the moon after the full moon will oppose Uranus and Hygeia over here, illuminating where we need to break free, where we need to be liberated, where we might have breakthroughs also, and be the healing or bring and do some healing both on ourselves perhaps and others. This is really a day of shadow release. There's some revolutionary insight, but also probably some emotional reckoning on this day. So on May the 13th, I called this day Soul Contracts and Sovereignty. So in early morning, the Scorpio moon, before the moon moves out of Scorpio, trines Ceres and Saturn, who are about to meet here. And this kind of grounds the emotional weather. But then the moon moves into Sagittarius, bringing some more fire into the sky again. And the big transit of the day, though, is that Saturn and Ceres will be conjunct at the 29th degree of Pisces, the last degree of the zodiac, the last degree of the sign, and the anaretic degree, a powerful karmic finale. What are you finally releasing here around nourishment and soul-rooted care? What feeds your needs? What are you releasing that has not met your needs? But we also get as well the moon. When the moon moves into Sagittarius, trines Venus and Neptune. Neptune first, obviously. And that brings more of a poetic, emotionally resonant flow. Meanwhile, the sun over here in Taurus also squares off to Pallas Athena. It was square Chariklo before. But this is strategy and strategy versus embodiment. Okay, it's like all this heady stuff going on, and yet the sun is rooted in Taurus. So some themes, words, whatever for Tuesday, May the 13th, are sacred endings. These two meeting at the end of the zodiac, creative devotion and spiritual maturity. And incidentally, it affects his chart, the new Pope. Anyway, Wednesday the 14th. So we have the moon in fiery, visionary Sagittarius all day on Wednesday the 14th. And I've called this day, though, mirror work. So the Taurus sun over here opposes Juno in Scorpio, and that's shining a light on imbalances or unmet needs in relationships and collaborations. This day is for asking, are your partnerships, and that can mean clients, business, personal, aligned with your values or just familiar roles? So in the keywords for this day are relational sovereignty, values clashes, and honesty as healing. On to Thursday. I've called this day, the 15th, cracking the grid. This is a big day. So we start the day with, we've got Pluto and Hecate approaching, having a square. And that's an intense underworld crossroads, right? In the myth of Demeter, Persephone, and Hades, Pluto being in the underworld or Hades, or being the underworld, literally, Hecate was the way shower, the crossroads goddess who shone her torch, showing the way and finding Persephone in the underworld. So this Pluto square Hecate, with Hecate in Pluto's sign, Scorpio, is rather deep and intense. Meanwhile, that fiery truth-seeking Sagittarius moon opposes Sagittarius ruler, Jupiter, or guide, rather, I don't like that word, ruler, and also trines off to Chiron and Eris, and squares the lunar nodes, right? And so I'll sum this up in a minute. Then Mercury over here opposes Vesta, speaking the sacred truth, even if it disrupts the altar. And the moon enters Capricorn and squares both Saturn and Ceres, again at the anaretic degrees. Okay, sorry, it squares it before entering Capricorn. But all of this, with the moon's aspects to the key to healing, Chiron and Eris shaking things up, opposing Jupiter, big ideas, big information, big news, right? And then also the moon squaring off to Saturn and Ceres, while they're right at the end of the zodiac here. This is a day, a real day of initiation and realignment and sacred rebellion in many ways, and speaking truth to power. It's pretty huge day. All right. Okay, so on to May the 16th, and I call May the 16th the code shift. The moon has moved into Capricorn. So the Capricorn moon tends to bring some more structure, some more focus, some more determination, but it's not without turbulence today. So the moon will trine Mercury in Taurus, and that's kind of bringing some ideas about really what we want to make real, what we want to manifest, what new structures we want to build. But then Ceres enters Aries. Fire returns to our care work and how we care for ourselves. The moon then squares Venus, who is just stepping past her retrograde shadow degree. So she's starting to tread new ground, and the moon conjuncts Pholus. Hang on a minute, I'll give you a little roundup. So we have this triple activation. Mercury over here, Venus here, and the moon when the moon reaches Pholus. So it's really a quadruple activation, all at 11 degrees. That's really kind of making forward motion. So this is a pattern shift. This is actionable healing. This is Venusian momentum, warrior Venus, like taking a stand Venus. All the other aspects with the moon in Capricorn, conjunct Pholus, taking the lid off things, and Mercury, the voice in Venus sign Taurus, is saying, the divine feminine is rising. We can really break the code, or shift the code, shall we say. Saturday, May the 17th, breakthroughs and boundaries. On that day, the moon, still in Capricorn, squares off to Chiron and Eris, so we get some wounded rage and divine disruption. Good day for protests, actually, as long as you stay safe. And then the Taurus sun conjuncts Uranus, and the Capricorn moon over here trines Uranus. This is a big one. So let me, I had written opposes Uranus. Why did I write that? I don't know. That's just how it happens sometimes. But you can see here, the Sun and Uranus meet at 27 degrees of Taurus. Interestingly, this is making an aspect of adjustment to the galactic center and the Capricorn moon over here at the same time, makes this Earth trine to the Sun and Uranus. And then later, the moon also trines Hygeia and sextiles Saturn, still in Pisces, whereas Ceres has moved on to that point of creation. So, sum up. Expect emotional earthquakes followed by integration. Release first and then recalibrate. So it's kind of like have a breakdown and break through. Only you don't need to completely break down. But this is a bit of a nervous system upgrade, a bit of a truth surge or a big truth surge. Integration through embodiment in Taurus. And this is integrating the new energies and the new consciousness and the new information that we have been learning about everything. And then into Sunday, the 18th. Now, this is next week's forecast, but I just want to give you a little heads up. Early in the day, the moon will enter the sign of Aquarius. And then that shifts things to the collective visionary airwaves. And Mercury over here squares off with Mars. So I'm going to get that aspect. Because you probably will feel this building on the Saturday. So that's why I wanted to show you. So there you go, very early. You can see 12:36 a.m. The moon is at 0 Aquarius, which is a hot degree. Search for my video, Fools and Lovers, and you will see that it is. And we've still got Uranus and the Sun conjunct, because Uranus is the modern guide for Aquarius. But Mercury squares off to Mars at 13 degrees, the degree of the witch or the goddess or whatever you want to call it, right? So, this is kind of like speaking truth to power again. It's words can land like blades or blessings depending on your clarity, and that kicks off the week. So I'm going to stop the share and do the tarot, and then I'm going to sum up because I know somebody asked me for a summation at the end, and I'm trying to remember to do all these things. So bear with me. I want to tell you about the cards. First of all, show you them as well. Okay. Probably could have trimmed off the outside, but I didn't. So the Three of Blades is heartbreak but holy. What truth is piercing you open so that something truer can grow? The Three of Cups is connection, celebration, soul family, leaning on joy as medicine. And then we get the Two of Discs. Balance is not stillness, it's movement with awareness. What are you learning to juggle with grace? So that's your week, but let me just stop the share and sum up. This is a week of thresholds and truth, where things that have lingered in the background rise to the surface. With Ceres and Saturn at 29 Pisces, we're closing karmic loops around care, sacrifice, and soul responsibility. The Scorpio full moon amplifies emotional clarity, while Mercury and Venus bring forward motion to old stories we've revisited. Expect a mix of emotional intensity, deep realignment, and unexpected openings, especially around relationships, creative flow, and the way you show up in service. By the weekend, things shift towards innovation and vision, but only after you've honored what's ready to be released. This isn't about fixing yourself, it's about reclaiming your rhythm. One brave, beautiful truth at a time. And I'm going to leave you with a weekly mantra and some final words. So if you say, I honor what's closing, I trust what's rising, I lead with truth, even when my voice shakes. Now, don't forget to subscribe and check out the Spiral Weave if you want deeper guidance, where we have bonus tarot, monthly calls, and sacred community woven with love. And as always, root, rise, create. So that's all from me for this week. It's actually a pretty big week. A full moon and that Ceres Saturn conjunction at the end of the zodiac, two really big aspects. So again, that mantra: honor what's closing, trust what's rising, lead with truth, even when your voice shakes. Until very shortly, when I'm going to look at the Pope and we're going to talk about the new Pope.